everybody. We are back again for one more weekend of NFL football.
It's playoff football.
It is playoff football. Yeah, we are down to the divisional. We have to recap the divisional games. We just finished the divisional games. And then we will do our predictions for the championship weekend.
And we'll tell you about some off-season moves.
There's been a few off-season moves go around. Some coaches that have moved and stuff. Some firings that have happened, which should have, and stuff like that. So, but first of all, let's go ahead and jump into the Saturday's games. We had the Jaguars at the Chiefs.
Their season did end.
The season did end. It ended up just being a 7-point game because Jacksonville kicked a late field goal. So
it was really a 10-point game.
It was a 10-point game, yeah. And the Chiefs just pulled up a little bit.
Mahomes had an injured ankle.
Yeah, he had a high ankle sprain that made him not be that mobile, and may restrict him a little bit this week. But he says he's 100% go. But it's hard to come back just like that from a high ankle sprain. So we'll just sort of see how it happens this week. But congrats to the Chiefs.
And the Jaguars, better luck next season.
The Jaguars did way better than anybody expected them, which means they're going to win the Super Bowl in 2 years. But hey, no, congrats to them. I mean, they made it that far, and
Doug Peterson changed the culture, didn't he?
Yeah, and they gave the Chiefs a good game of it. I mean, really, they scored 20 points on them, 17 really, but they put up some points on them, and they gave them a little bit of a challenge. But we all knew the Chiefs were going to win that one. It was just depends on by how many points. Jumping into the second game, this was the one that surprised me a little bit. A division game, third time you've played each other this year. Giants at the Eagles.
This was a mollywhopper.
This was just a good old-fashioned butt kicking.
This was take you to the shed and boot you in the rear end.
38
to 7. I don't think it was even that close.
No. I really thought it was going to be a field goal game. I thought, the Giants looked good. They're coming off of a good win.
Well, they did win by more than I expected. 31-point win in the playoffs.
I would have never picked that. I mean, who would have thought a 31-point win in the divisional round?
Oh my gosh! Well, the Giants did have a good season. Brian Dable.
You have to give that's Brian Dable's first year as a head coach, and he took them
to the divisional round.
So I think
that's
the Giants
great coaching job.
I think the Giants are definitely heading in the right direction, and they did say, as we'll throw some news in as we go, Daniel Jones is their man, and it looks like the going range right now is around $30 million. So Daniel Jones is a $30 million man. He will be a $30 million per year quarterback.
The only thing I really want the Giants to do is add on to the defense and give him a good wide receiver.
Maybe give him a good wide receiver. It's hard to throw the ball if you only have
backup players
as your star wide receivers.
If he can do that, go to the divisional round with backup players, then what could he do with good players, like star caliber players?
Yeah, of course you always get a good offensive lineman, a good defensive lineman, a good secondary, but they might want to use their first picks, wide receiver, tight end type. Give him some more talent to throw the ball to, because Saquon Barkley looked like he back and he looked good. So
he did look like the resurgence. But
yeah, congrats to the Giants making it that far, and congrats to the Eagles. They look like they're in full early season form.
They looked like a dominant team.
Everybody was worried. Well, they had some injuries. No, yeah, they are.
They're back.
They're still pretty good. All right, jumping into our Sunday games, we had the Bengals at the Bills.
The biggest disappointment of the entire playoffs.
Yeah, the
entire playoffs.
The Bengals are pretty good.
Yes, they are pretty good.
I think they're pretty good. Last year, them going to the Super Bowl.
Turns out away.
It wasn't a fluke.
They're coming back to try for another.
How many have they won in a row now? Is it like 9 or 10? 9 or 10 they've won in a row.
They won 10 games in a row. They haven't lost since October.
So they haven't lost a game since October. They got everybody healthy.
As much as you can.
Man, yeah.
But the Bills. That's what we have to talk about.
The Bills are the disappointment. They were coming off of the high. Hamlin was back for the game. And you think, man, blah, blah, blah. They really miss Brian Dable. Their offensive coordinator last year, which is the Giants' head coach this year.
Ken Dorsey. We got to talk about this Ken Dorsey. I was talking about the game plan being terrible. The game plan was the... Ken Dorsey, you've probably heard us talk about it if you watch as much as I'll. He's the first-year coordinator, and he is a first-ever coordinator. This is his first time ever coordinating anything. And he may be good in the future. We don't know. But this year, the Bills took a step back. And that could be very concerning if you're a fan.
That is concerning.
Because if you want to hit that Super Bowl window, it was starting this year.
They were my Super Bowl favorite going into the year. They were the team last year that looked like they should have been in the Super Bowl, and they missed it by that much. Mahomes. Mahomes got them by that much in the end. I honestly think the Bills would have won the Super Bowl last year if they would have made it. They looked that good. So you were thinking coming into this year, man, if they get half a game better, they're going to kill everybody. And they took a step back. They really didn't.
Let me talk about that game plan from Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
That game plan, which had barely any runs in it, in the snow.
How long did it take them to give up the run? Like half a quarter?
Very, very much. How many times did they run the ball in the second half? What kind of adjustments do you make? What kind of coaching is that?
I don't know.
Somebody's going to be held accountable for what? 10 points in a home playoff game?
10 points and only 3 points in the second half.
That is horrible coaching.
At home.
That is also horrible coaching. Since it's a playoff game, it makes it especially bad.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
Ken Dorsey has to be held accountable for the awful game plan.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was, Ken Dorsey, I know we're repeating the same name over and over, but he was a gunslinger at Miami. The college Miami.
Yeah.
And I think my worries and my thoughts during the game were like, Ken Dorsey was trying to turn Josh Allen into Ken Dorsey.
This tells you what kind of game plan they had. Their leading rusher had 8 carries for 26 yards. You want to know who their leading rusher was?
Who?
Josh Allen.
Ken Dorsey.
When your leading rusher in a playoff game is your quarterback,
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
That also has to reflect on the front office too, for not getting anybody.
Yeah, somebody's got to go up to the offensive coordinator and go, hey man, we got to run the ball. I mean, at some point.
I'm also gonna give the defense a little bit of a pounding too, because look how they only forced the Bengals to punt 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times in the whole game. When they had home field and their fans
jumping
up and down.
The Bengals are hot. You gave up 27. Hooray. They should have scored 34. I mean, I don't know, just something.
But Sean McDermott and the other guys, they got to take a look in the mirror moment, if you want to know.
Devin Singletary, who had been rushing good, they only gave him 6 carries the entire game.
Whose fault is that?
And James Cook, which is their other running back, they only gave him 5 carries the entire game. So your 2 running backs had 11 carries the entire game.
How many times did Josh Allen throw?
42.
That is a huge play disparity.
42.
If the opponent knows you're going to pass almost all the time, then what is the... Well, they're gonna call for the pass.
And Singletary was averaging 4.2 yards a carry. It wasn't like he was getting 1 yard and then 1 yard and then...
You could have got a first down if you did it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
In the snow.
That's why I'm a big coach person. If you watch this stuff now, I'm a big coach person too. And your team's only going to go as far as your coaching sets them up to succeed. And I really think Ken Dorsey let him down this year. And again, he's a first-year coach. maybe he'll look at himself, reevaluate himself over the offseason and go, dude, I screwed that up. I need to change some stuff. And then come into the next season, change some stuff. And he might be a fantastic coordinator. It's not like he's been out for 10 years and you can tell he sucks. We don't know. He struggled this year.
He's not going to be a Hackett or a Moore or a Downing or anything
like that.
I can tell Dorsey is better than those guys.
Yeah, he just needs to quit leaning on
the pass all of the time.
I mean, Josh Allen's fantastic, but he needs help. He just can't do it all by himself.
And Stephon Diggs had a bit of a tirade on the sidelines, appropriately so, because of the lack of performance.
He only had 4 catches for 35 yards.
I think that's also part of the Bengals defense doing a good job of sealing him up.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to give some credit to the Bengals here for what they did.
Now the Bengals,
Joe Burrow performed outstanding. He didn't turn the ball over. I don't think I think he had like 71% completion of his passes.
He only threw 36 times, and Joe Mixon got 20 runs,
20 carries. So the Bengals coaches outsmarted the Bills coaches, and the Bills coaches are used to playing in the snow.
And it was perfect weather for Buffalo. It was perfect weather for Buffalo.
You don't run the ball in the snow. That drives me nuts.
You got Hamlin there. You got the crowd. You got the they run Singletary 6 times.
That's on the play calls.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's always next year for Buffalo. At least they didn't go to Super Bowl and lose it.
Yep, but they really have to look at the mirror and see who they
need to reevaluate, and you cannot go into the playoffs and run the ball 6 times with your star wide receiver. I mean, with your star
runner. You got to establish balance.
You got to have some balance, yeah. And going into the last game, we had the Cowboys at the 49ers.
Newsflash, Kellen Moore is freaking awful.
He is horrible, man.
Freaking awful.
Everybody loves him for some reason. I don't know. I've been a Cowboys fan ever since Staubach and Dorsett, and he is horrible. There
was Steve Smith Sr., former Panthers star wide receiver, for those who don't know, who looked at that game. The Panthers were in line to get Kellen Moore, which would have given me a migraine. But he told me after that last play, he didn't want him anywhere near Carolina. I won't blame him. I don't want him anywhere near my place.
When you score 12 points.
And Jerry Jones is tap dancing in his feet, I bet.
Yeah.
What has he done to this once proud franchise?
And again, people are blaming Dak, blame Dak. He was 23 of 37 for 206.
But at some point you got to blame.
I will give I'll be soft a little bit, because Pollard turns out to be probably the Dallas' most dynamic player.
And he did go out.
He went out. So that hurts you a little bit. But no.
But Kellen Moore just continues to put his players, especially Dak, who gets a huge bunch of the criticism from everybody, into bad situations. He forces Dak to make bad decisions when there shouldn't have been a decision there.
No. If
there's nothing there, throw the ball away. But
don't force it. Dak forces the ball into certain situations, but I almost think the reason he does that is because that's the situations that Kellen Moore gives him. He doesn't give him good, clean throw. He doesn't give it. He makes him pick. And it's, I don't know. I must say, if they would start a GoFundMe page for getting rid of Kellen Moore, we would probably pay his salary to go somewhere else.
Where's my money? Can I give my money out?
Here.
Can I have my money?
Yeah, here.
Get out of Dallas quick, fast, and
I hope somebody picks him. The good news is Dan Quinn is staying at Dallas as the defensive coordinator.
I admire him.
He is the bright spot of that entire franchise right now.
He's going to say back, Dan Quinn said, I've got unfinished business.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't think the head coach is bad.
Mike McCarthy has had a Super Bowl in his cupboard.
I think that Jerry Jones, which is the general manager, is really horrible at being a general. I think our general manager is horrible, and I think our offensive coordinator is horrible.
And
that's coming from a Dallas fan. Yes.
So that just mirror reflects everything?
Yeah. So what you're going to get is 12 points in a playoff game with the last play being one of the worst plays you could possibly call in the history of football.
And the previous year, Kellen Moore called a Dak run up the middle, and time ran out.
And this year he calls a pass to the middle with 5 seconds left. Tackle, game over.
At least Ken Dorsey has hope. Kellen Moore is a freaking moron.
He's been doing this. He's been doing this for a long time, and he sucks at it. So yeah, that's just what it's going to be.
It's about time. Bon voyage, Moore. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope somebody picks you up so I can make you one of my candidates for the dumpster fire.
The Cowboys got to let him go. He's got to go somewhere. They got to change something. They can't take the same team again going to next year and expect something different. That's the definition of insanity. When you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting it to get better, it ain't going to get better.
All those stats that Kellen Moore has is just padded up.
If you notice, this is the same exact team as when Jason Garrett was there. It's the same team. There's nothing changed. You know why? Because Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator too. They didn't get rid of the offensive coordinator when they got rid of the head coach.
It's like Jerry Jones had a buddy-buddy thing.
That's your GM. He's not a GM.
Man, you're the Emperor Palpatine of football, Dad. He is literally Emperor Palpatine. Just put a black cloak and give him a fake lightsaber.
We need somebody to throw him down the shaft. Well, but anyways, yeah.
At least Ken Dorsey has hope of getting better.
Ken Dorsey's a first year. You can't say that he's going to be a bad coordinator yet. You have to wait and see. Give him 2 or 3 years and let him develop a pattern. But he did struggle this year on balance.
But it isn't free from criticism from me. But I will give him some slack.
You got to criticize him, but
I will cut him slack.
If they do good, you got to say they do good too. Like Dable, he didn't win the Super Bowl this year, but he came in and
improved the team that was bad
dramatically. So Brian Dable, you can see he was worth what they did for him, and Kellen Moore's not.
I kind of want to see somebody pick him up as a head coach just to see.
Just to see.
I just want to see.
You almost hope they would do better. Go be a head coach and get your head out of the offensive calling because you can't do it. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and jump into our predictions for the conference championship. We got them both on Sunday. Got a 3 o'clock. Got a 6:30. We got the first one is the 49ers at
the Eagles. The game of the year.
Man, what a game! That's going to be some kind of game. The Eagles are favored by 2.5, and with it being at Philly, that's almost like it's a pick'em game. Because Philly gets 3 points for being at home. So I don't know. That's going to be a
49ers are hot. Eagles looked great last week.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for me. I don't know. What do you think? I'm leaning towards Philly, maybe because they're the home team.
Maybe, but that 49er defense is smothering.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the head coach candidate, D'Amico Ryans, doing it, and his defense is ranked atop the league for all year.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very. I don't know who to pick.
I don't know. Philly just put up 38 points in the divisional round.
So who would you pick here?
Oh gosh,
both teams are talent ridden.
It's this one. These teams.
This is a coin toss.
This is a coin toss. Honestly, I'll probably lean Eagles just because they're at home. That's probably the only thing that I would give it to them. Eagles at home.
Also, the Eagles' offensive line against that San Francisco Piranha attack on the defensive line. That's going to be the key.
Yeah. And Philly's defense is not bad.
Yeah.
They just held the Giants, who were on fire, to 7 points. So, will they do something to Purdy? Purdy's
been pretty good.
He's been pretty good. He's a pretty good quarterback.
He's also a pretty good man off the field, if you really want to look into it.
Yeah, he seems to be a good young kid, and he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Just a little extra info. Who was Hurts the quarterback for in college last?
Oklahoma.
Who was Purdy the quarterback for last in college?
Iowa State.
They did play each other. The last time they played, it was 42-39. Oklahoma.
Hey, talent comes from somewhere.
Yeah, so they have played each other. People saying they play. Yeah, they played each other in college, and Oklahoma played them, and Oklahoma did win 42-39. I don't know if it's going to be that high of a scoring game, but I will take those same 3 points and take Philadelphia.
All right,
just because it's a home team.
Now let's
jump on in. Let's jump on into the team that might be 42-39. The Bengals at the Chiefs. This
rematch of last year. Chiefs a little hungry for some revenge.
Yeah.
Bengals want to go back to the Super Bowl.
Kansas City is favored by uno, which means the Bengals have the upper hand.
I think they have the upper hand in terms of quarterback health too.
Yeah.
Burrow's nice and healthy, but Mahomes is dealing with a nagging ankle injury.
Yeah. Mahomes says that he is good to go, though. He's 100% ready to go.
Well, I hope it's like that on the field.
Yeah, he said he's in an interview, he said he's hoping that adrenaline kicks in and it doesn't even think about it. He just plays, So, I don't know. That's going to be a tough game.
Both quarterbacks had great seasons.
Both quarterbacks threw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards. Both look at that. The number one rushers, Kansas City's 830 yards. Mixon 814 yards. These teams are so very similar.
One just happens to be different colors.
Yeah. The thing that concerns me, and you can take this either way, is Mahomes has never beat Burrow head-to-head. He's 0-3.
Yeah, that's the only quarterback he's had trouble with is Joe Burrow.
So now do you take that as, he can't beat Burrow, or do you take it as
he's going to beat him once?
Due? How do you take that?
Joe Burrow is extremely confident, and Patrick Mahomes is extremely gifted. So those two talented quarterbacks can go. I think it's a back-and-forth game where both quarterbacks throw for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that's what I think. This one may be 42-39. This may be the 42-39, and it may be overtime to get you to the 42-39. It may be a replay of the Bills.
Watch it be like 21
13-10 or something.
Watch it be like that.
Just the complete opposite. Last week in the 4 games we picked, we were 2-2 because the Jags kicked a last-second field goal.
Brandon Staley.
Yeah. Oh, that was so bad.
By the way, he's still the Chargers head coach.
Yeah, the Chargers head coach. Oh, what do you think here? I'm gonna take the Chiefs just because I think that they're due. And if the Chiefs are going to win another Super Bowl, they need to get in it. I mean, their clock is ticking too. They're in the 3 or 4 year window to where they need to take advantage of all their talent too. So we'll go with the Chiefs. Chiefs and
Eagles.
The Eagles. Which means it's going to be 49ers and the Bengals.
Why not?
Why not? It's so hard to pick these games this time of year. Especially these teams are, normally you don't get any that are really this evenly matched. Dude, these teams are almost, it's really hard to pick.
It's like muscle against muscle.
Yeah, let's go. You don't know who's going to win them.
Let's talk about some.
You want to throw in some odd and end news? We had some players and coaches going around. The Carolina Panthers have picked up their new head coach,
Frank Reich,
which I think that is probably going to be a good hire for them.
We needed a veteran.
A veteran come in there. They were looking at Kellen Moore, so you almost got Kellen Moore as your head coach.
Oh, please don't remind me.
Oh yeah. So that's good news that you got a good. Now you got to see if you can get some good.
Now here's the other news that surprised me. We thought we were done seeing the Hackett.
No, Daniel Hackett, who was the fired coach of the Denver Broncos.
I remember that.
Now the only thing that's positive thinking here is he was the offensive coordinator for the Packers under Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. So he does have that winning experience, but now the Jets picked him up. He is the new offensive coordinator
for the Jets.
We don't know if he'll be. He was really bad as the head coach of
Denver.
He was over his head. We over his head.
I'll still talk about that.
but he was a pretty good offensive coordinator for the Packers, so we'll see.
There are rumors about Aaron Rodgers in the Jets now, and the Jets.
Yeah, and the
Jets.
Yeah, and they did pick up some more coordinators.
And they picked up the offensive line coach for the Titans.
Yeah.
Produced a top 5 running game.
Yeah, so the Jets are at least making some moves. I mean, they're
trying to change it.
Now, so maybe they'll turn it around a little bit next year. Do we have any more coaching moves that I can think of?
Not really off of the top of my head.
No, we already talked about the firings last week, didn't we?
Yep.
Tennessee finally fired their horrible offensive coordinator, Todd Downing.
He's going to be a mythical legend.
He is. I don't know. I wonder where he goes next. Nobody's picked up him, have they?
I wish to await the day.
I'll wait the day that happens. But anyways, that's it. That is it for the NFL this weekend. We've only got one more game after this.
There was actually one that I almost forgot about.
What's that?
The Browns replacing Joe Woods with Jim Schwartz.
Oh, yeah.
As D coordinator. No more Joe Woods.
Joe Woods was he was the chicken with his head cut off defensive coordinator.
I mean, if you were at a farm and you saw chickens running around scared,
chasing a June bug, just running, that's how their secondary
just
looks whenever they're recovering somebody. Yeah. So the Browns, Schwartz actually is a pretty good coach too. So that should be a step up, hopefully for them. But again, that should be it. Be sure to hit the like button. We'll be back next week for the Super Bowl preview.
Get your nacho dip. Get your queso dip. Get your salsa. Get your nachos. Get your pizzas. Get your hot dogs.
And we are going to start up some college basketball videos probably soon after this too.
We'll be doing it most likely after the Super Bowl ends.
Yeah.
And we'll be focusing ourselves shifting to college basketball.
Yeah. So be sure to follow us, hit the like button, subscribe button, share us with your friends, hit the groovy button, and we'll see you again next week.
See you next week.